Hello, everybody.
Hello, everyone.
Welcome.
No!
Manny.
I outlawed it. It's not allowed. I outlawed it.
This episode is probably going to be releasing sometime around beginning of April, and Manny just made an Among Us joke.
No.
No.
Let's just start from the beginning. This is a terrible intro.
No, it was a great intro.
Okay, welcome to episode 5 of the Film Canister podcast with a twist, because this time we have...
Drum roll. Callum.
Now, if you're a real fan, you'd know that Callum was the guest we introduced last time, and the movie Callum picked was Sorry to Bother You by Boots Riley. But we'll get to that later. But now let's just jump into some questions. All right.
Favorite movie of the 2010s?
Oh.
Ooh.
This used to be such an easy question for me because I used to only watch movies that came out in the 2010s. I'm going to say either Waves by Trey Edward Schultz or Suspiria by Luca Guadagnino. I think Suspiria is underrated as fuck.
Oh, same.
No, shut up, Luke. You gave it 3.5. You are not allowed to talk. You gave that movie a 3.5. If I hear you say that movie is underrated, I can't threaten to murder again. I do that way too much on this podcast.
It's underrated by me.
It's underrated by you and Callum.
Yes.
Callum gave it like a 2.5. This is outrageous.
I may have moved that up. No, actually, I don't think I did.
The horror in that movie is so good. It gives me the tingles, man. It's just a really good movie. Everybody here should watch it. I think it's necessary.
I've seen it.
I've seen it too.
Watch it again.
I haven't seen it. I should.
Yeah, you haven't seen it, man?
I love Thom Yorke. I should watch it.
Thom.
Tegan, what's your favorite movie of the 2010s?
Either Marriage Story or Prisoners.
Why?
Because they're good.
Tegan's straightforward as fuck because they're good.
Marriage Story, I was fighting really hard for Adam Driver to win last year, which I still believe he deserved over Joaquin Phoenix. But anyways.
The world kind of went to shit after he lost.
Yep.
Yeah, kind of.
I love the video of you pacing around the room in anger because he didn't win.
Yeah. No, Tegan collapsed on the floor when he lost.
That was at the Golden Globes because
That's when you knew he wasn't going to win at the Oscars.
Because you knew Joaquin was going to win by the time the Oscars happened. But at the Globes last year, there was a chance.
There was a chance.
She had her hands right next to her face. She's like, and she went, oh, and then she ran into the bathroom and locked the door.
Yeah.
And then Prisoners is just a pretty freaking dang good movie.
Best Jake Gyllenhaal performance. Actually, that's a lie. That's a bold-faced lie.
Have you seen Zodiac?
Okay. If you already know the story of the Zodiac Killer, pretty well, it's just not, the most interesting
That's
thing.
not true. I knew that story before I went into it, and I've loved it. I've seen that movie a solid 7 times. It's so rewatchable.
Wow, okay.
And you don't feel the length at all.
There goes my theory.
Yeah, I knew nothing about the Zodiac Killer, and I really liked the movie.
I watched it the week last year where I was so sick that they legitimately, thought I had COVID before anybody knew, what the actual symptoms of COVID were. I might have just been not having a good week and not have liked it because of that. I also hated the other Jake Gyllenhaal movie I watched that week. Maybe it was just a bad week for Jake.
I find the mood very much affects an experience with a movie. If I'm having a really shitty day, I'm not going to enjoy even the best movie if it's not a comfort movie that I haven't seen before.
Mm-hmm.
And speaking of comfort movies, my favorite movie of the 2010s is Grand Budapest Hotel. I've seen this movie very many times. I love it so much. It's just there's not a single dull moment. It's just constantly going forward. It's just one of the most consistently entertaining things I could ever watch.
That's a fact.
I'd agree. I that's my favorite movie. I'm gonna pick something else for the 2010s just because you just said it.
Sorry, I kind of stole that from you. My bad.
I think I'm gonna guess it.
No, guess it. I want you to guess it first.
I think it's gonna be Burning.
I could say that, but I also really loved Parasite.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And I saw it 4 times in the theaters. So I really loved that one. But yeah, Burning as well, because Burning was so awesome. It's
Burning's
so good.
Yeah, Burning's that's a top 5 of the 2010s as well.
My favorite movie of the 2010s is
Whiplash.
Whiplash.
What?
Good, I was drumming.
Oh,
predicted
his
it.
brother.
I
I see.
I like the part where he goes, and then J.K. Simmons is like.
My favorite part is when J.K. Simmons goes, "You did it, you did Whiplash," and then every character that's in the movie cheers.
You gave me whiplash. Other contenders are Her and Phantom Thread, but I'm not going to talk about those.
Scariest movie you've ever seen.
Ooh. Oh my god.
That's a good one. I'm gonna have to say Under the Skin for this, and it's not even like the whole movie. The whole movie is very disturbing and kind of like psychological, but there's one scene, and if you've seen it, you know exactly what I'm talking about. That scene, I was like just instantly seared into my brain, and then I just couldn't sleep, and I just had that image stuck in my head for the rest of the night. Just for that one scene, that movie is like easily the scariest movie I've seen, honestly. If you know, you know.
I think mine actually gonna be Come and See.
Ooh.
Wow. Yeah.
Just a little callback to episode 1, where I also said it was the scariest movie I've ever seen. Come and See is pretty terrifying, and I think it's one of the only movies that makes me feel like very sick after I watch it. Very just upset with humanity, and that isn't really the case with a lot of other movies, so I'm gonna go with Come and See.
Mine has a little bit of backstory. I had access to an iPad and YouTube as a kid and stumbled upon a lot of like horror YouTube content. So I became desensitized to horror at a pretty young age. It's to the point where I can still find things scary in movies, but it's not often that I like get scared by movies. So I'm going to say the last movie that I remember being like really physically scared by afterwards, and that's The Witch by Robert Eggers. I didn't even like it that much. And even then, after it ended, I didn't want to like leave my room. I kind of just wanted to like stay in bed. I was scared to get up, and I don't know why. I still can't pinpoint why. I just was.
You don't have a part that like scared you the most?
No, I think just after... God, it was like 3 years ago that I watched it, but just after the end, spoilers for The Witch, like with all of them like rising up around the campfire, like I don't know what about that got to me, but it's just something did, and it fucking shivered me to the bone, shiver me timbers.
Oh, that's like actually surprising, because like I did not find that movie scary at all, and I found it very boring.
Damn.
I got nothing out of it, which is funny because The Lighthouse is like so good compared to it. Personally,
Yeah.
I'm gonna go into mine now. It's gonna be The Polar Express.
Oh my God.
What?
Animation as a kid was very unsettling, and there's a certain scene with puppets. No,
Okay, yeah.
it's bad.
That is a good like childhood trauma scene.
Yeah.
For like movie scenes that scared you as a kid.
Because to be honest, like most horror movies don't really scare me. Like I just like them for the thrill.
That's how I feel.
But that, I don't know, something's off about it, and it's a kid's movie, so it's like way worse.
That part actually really scared me too. The puppets, when he's like, "You're a doubter,"
And then they grab on the kids. It's with the puppets are grabbing the kids. It's terrible.
Okay, Tegan, what's your movie?
I don't know. I don't really have a movie that scares me.
Didn't we like whittle it down for you, and you said like Antichrist was the only one that kind of scared you in any way?
It didn't scare me though.
Okay.
I don't understand why people find Antichrist scary.
It's not scary. I just don't get scared by movies because it's really easy for me to separate the fact that it's not reality.
With this question, we could unbox a whole can of worms that could go on for an entire series of podcasts, but let's keep it brief, I guess. What music do you like?
Ooh.
Let's just like one like artist or album that you like right now.
Oh, I can't. This could be so hard to just talk about one. Okay.
I think like one sort of artist or album that I'm listening to a lot right now is Have One on Me by Joanna Newsom. It's a really, really good album, and it's long. It's like 18 songs, 2 hours long, but like it's one of those things that's like gradually sort of more and more details are kind of revealing themselves, and it's just the more I listen to it, the better it's getting. But in terms of like all-time favorite artists, I gotta say Fleet Foxes is my personal favorite. I've been listening to them longer than most other artists I like, and like all of their albums are amazing, and I love all of them for different reasons, but I could talk about this for another several podcasts, but I'll just keep it brief for now.
I'll go. I'm gonna bounce off what Manny said. I also really love Fleet Foxes, and they're probably my favorite band as well. And me and Manny are basically very similar in our musical tastes, as many people know. I also like post-punk. I like Talking Heads. I like Idols, Parquet Courts, and I like other indie folk stuff like Bright Eyes, Sufjan, and Microphones. And I like the Radiohead album In Rainbows.
Who doesn't?
That's my music taste.
I like specifically pointing out In Rainbows.
The other ones aren't like ones that like really hook me like a ton, but In Rainbows, that's like my soul.
Yeah.
I would agree.
Yes.
Wholeheartedly.
Tegan.
I really like blues and jazz, and I really like rock, and I really like specific genres of rock.
Which one?
My favorite genre of rock is grunge.
Ooh, you're a Nirvana girl?
I love grunge rock. I could live and just sit and listen to it forever and be happy. I really like a lot of stuff that came out of Motown Records. Yeah. I don't know, man. I forgot.
She forgot.
I really like reggae. That's also
right now, an album that I'm super, super into, and it's one of my favorite albums ever. It's Me on My Mirror by Current Joys. I think they're probably my favorite band. I think Nick Radigan is like a huge inspiration to me. Probably up there with Wong Kar-wai in terms of like inspiring me to make art. I love that man and that album. It makes me really sad when I listen to it, but it's like a good kind of sad. I'm also really into Bjork.
Yeah.
I think she's probably one of the greatest artists, just period. Like not just art in music, just like art.
Definitely.
The shit she makes is otherworldly.
Yeah.
She's amazing. I also really like TV Girl. They're a cool band. I'm liking Charlie XCX's newest album right now. That's some stuff.
I saw Charlie XCX live when I went to a Halsey concert in grade 8. She opened for Halsey.
And then she played Boys.
Tegan, I was at that concert too.
Wait, what the fuck?
I was at that concert too.
How do we know if we were at the same one?
It was like October or November 2017 because we didn't know each other.
I was literally there with like my friends.
I was as well.
Ew.
One of my friends got hugged by Halsey at that concert.
Whoa.
That's crazy.
Man, that was Zoe. Zoe was there. She got hugged by Halsey. Charlie XCX's old music I'm not a fan, but she makes hyperpop now, and I don't like hyperpop, but I like that
You're
album.
missing out.
Callum, I could go on a whole rant on why most hyperpop now is just kind of bad.
It's fine. I don't know.
Anyway,
Ooh.
I mean,
Ooh.
I like Dorian.
I'm gonna go on a tiny rant. What I hate about hyperpop right now is that what people think hyperpop is write a pop song, make vocals high pitched, add random noises in the background. Boom, you got a hyperpop song. Hyperpop utilizes that, but to make good hyperpop, that's not what you do. You don't just make a pop song and then add effects. It feels like it's a fake genre. I'm being pretentious and shit. I don't even care.
Who would you cite as doing this? Like, who would you say is like...
Gex, 100 Gex. I'm not a 100 Gex.
Really?
I'm not an 100 Gex fan. I think 100 Gex.
Because everyone said, because that's like quintessential hyperpop for most people.
I wouldn't really say those are pop beats with just high-pitched vocals and random sounds. Like the whole...
I think 100 Gex does a lot
Yeah.
more than that.
I've listened to their album and I think it's either weird noises to the extreme or...
Have you heard the remix album? That's the question.
No, I have not heard the remix album. I think quintessential hyperpop is Sophie and Charlie XCX.
I would agree about Sophie.
That's my thing.
Callum, who do you think? Who are some of your favorite musical artists?
I like Animal Collective a lot.
Yes.
Yeah, me too.
Disaster Piece. Yeah, he's done soundtracks. You
Yes.
probably know him from It Follows. It's a really good soundtrack, and also his video game soundtracks are really good. Like Shoo Shoo. Y'all ever listen to Shoo Shoo?
Yeah, I've heard of them.
I like Girl with Basket of Fruit.
Yes, Girl with Basket of Fruit's so good.
One more artist I want to mention is like one of my favorites right now is Kate Bush. Sensual World, Hounds of Love, amazing albums. Her music just feels so magical to me, and it just brings me to like a level that feels so like nostalgic and childlike, even though I've never really grown up listening to her music, but it just sort of brings me back to this very kind of specific place.
Are you a Kate Bush fan? Prove it. Prove it. Sing Wuthering Heights perfectly right now.
Holy shit. Manny's
Okay,
spot
no,
on with his
no.
impressions today.
Okay, so Callum, when people introduce their film on the podcast, we play some Kevin MacLeod music and we get them to give a brief synopsis.
All right.
Okay, ready?
Talk.
The movie is Sorry to Bother You. It came out in 2018. Boots Riley directed it and wrote it, I think. It's about Cassius Green, and he like starts a job as a telemarketer at this company, and then he kind of learns this like white voice, as they call it in the movie, and he kind of like grows up in the ranks, and weird shit happens.
Full spoilers for Sorry to Bother You.
Full spoilers.
And this is one that you don't want to be spoiled for if you haven't seen
Yeah.
it.
Definitely.
Holy
I was spoiled for the twist. Like
Same.
I saw it like separately a while before, and even still, that scene just like
Yeah.
was so fucking.
I knew it was coming the first time I watched it, and I was still like, Ugh.
Yeah, me too.
I did not know it was coming at all, and I was like, what?
I wish I could have experienced that, dude. Oh
It
my
was
God.
really fun to watch with my family. It was-
You watched
Yeah,
it?
dude, I watched it for the first time with my family too. I showed it to my brother and my mom. This is like a weird movie.
Yeah.
And they're not usually weird movie people, so I was like, oh, this should be fun. This should be like a chill watch. Like, it'll say some stuff about politics. And it did, but in different ways than I imagined it would.
Funny that you can't discuss this movie without talking about the elephant in the room.
The
The horse in the room.
The horse in the room. The equisapien in the room.
Stop,
Equisapien.
no. I hate that.
Some people have said this movie is like really jarring and like kind of throws you off from like the point when that happens.
Nah.
And I don't even totally disagree with that, but I think think it's still fun.
The whole movie is kind of like jarring and chaotic. Like
Yeah.
from the first time he sits down at the job, he's like transported physically to the room with the people.
Yeah.
I think that did a really good job of just sort of showing like the chaos of the environment and just like really like putting you in the perspective of like starting that job for the first time and just like how his boss and everyone are like screaming and swearing at each other the whole time. And from like the beginning, the movie is just really jarring and chaotic.
Yeah, there's not really a moment to breathe, like, ever.
I really love how all the surrealist elements are just worked in.
Mhm.
I think like it's extremely well incorporated, and
I
it
agree.
brings the themes home very well.
It's like really funny.
Yeah.
It's
that's
so
true.
funny. Oh my god.
I'm gonna say this right now. I think one of my favorite jokes in a movie ever is when Armie Hammer's like, I have an offer for you. And he hands him the piece of paper and it just says, I'm offering you $100 million. With the little
That's a
fucking
good-
smiley
yeah.
face, I laughed out loud by myself.
That's a good. That is really good. Yeah, probably the funniest scene for me. It was like it's such a small thing, but the fucking like elevator keypad button scene. I swear that has to go on for like 2 minutes.
It feels like 2 minutes, but it's only like 30 seconds. One criticism I'm going to throw at this movie. There's so many very noticeable inconsistencies in the editing.
I actually did not notice a single one.
Okay, maybe I'm just like weird and I'm noticing it in this movie for some reason more than others, but like it feels like every scene there was at least twice where like something was off in the editing.
Like a continuity error.
Yeah, there's continuity. Like, I don't know, somebody was walking to the left in the shot, and the next shot they're just standing completely still.
I don't like pick up on
Yeah.
shit like that a lot of the
Yeah,
time.
that stuff doesn't bother me.
This movie is just like so funny and like over the top as well.
Yeah.
The got the shit kicked out of me, like the TV show. It sounds like a fake show from like GTA 5 or something.
I got the
Yeah.
shirt.
Like that's what it feels like.
A lot of it just felt like very like grounded and character driven, especially at the start, and then it just like you slowly start to
Explodes.
realize that the world is like really just off the wall. Like it's
Yeah.
Is it a sci-fi movie?
yeah.
I think to an extent.
Or maybe it's just like a surrealist.
I feel like I think of it more as just like surrealist.
I'm about to end this whole argument. It's got the science fiction genre.
Yeah, we're back on the genre.
Oh, God.
discussion.
Back on the genre discussion.
Let's just cut it right
Always
there.
comes back to this.
Everybody, what is the best scene in the movie?
I really like the scene when like his kind of apartment's like transforming from
Yeah.
like the garage to the like more sophisticated upscale.
Becoming rich montage.
Yeah, it looked so good. I really like the stuff breaking apart.
On the subject of like the apartment, I find it so interesting how like it goes from like this vibrantly colored kind of like garage apartment with all these like decorations to just this like stark white like condo.
This is the most like we live in a society movie I've ever seen.
Yeah, one of the best like anti-capitalist movies I've seen.
It's more than anti-capitalist. It's like anti-human nature.
Okay, guys, is worry-free Walmart or Amazon?
Amazon.
I would say Amazon. Yeah, Amazon.
Like I feel like it was built after Amazon.
But it could be like any of those, just like any gigantic mega corporation.
I feel like by and large in Wall-E was based on Walmart, but I think this was based on Amazon.
Yeah, because this is like about worker exploitation, and like that happens at Walmart as well. But Walmart is just more about just like kind of like general consumerism.
My best scene is either the entire office exchange with Armie Hammer. That is one of the most entertaining scenes ever.
Yeah.
Or I think the rapping scene is so fucking
Yes. Oh my god.
good. That is a perfect scene.
I thought that was great
Yeah.
too.
Yeah, that scene is just like so like effective and just shocking. Just seeing this like crowd full of white people chanting the N-word.
Notice how none of the big name white actors in that scene were saying it. I specifically
Yeah.
watched Armie Hammer didn't say it.
Armie Hammer was just grinning. I would not want to be an extra on that movie.
Yeah.
You get to throw blood-filled balloons at Tessa Thompson.
Or a cell phone.
Or cell phones or bullet casings.
I'd be an extra in that scene. I think my favorite scene is just how shocking it is when he walks into the bathroom and the Equisapien just drops on the floor.
Yeah.
Like that's just like what
I mean, he's a fool. He shouldn't have gone into the olive door. I mean,
Yeah, it's the Jade door. Come on.
I said that. Literally when he went into the door, I'm like, that's very obviously not Jade. You are a dunce.
That's a really big Luke moment. Like, not knowing that
I don't know what that means. I don't know what the color names mean.
Okay, another really fucking funny scene is like the pitch that Armie Hammer plays. It says like directed by Michel Dongri.
What? I didn't see that.
Yeah, it says that.
Holy shit, really? But why? What the fuck?
I don't
What did he
know.
do?
Boots Riley's not a fan of Michel Gondry.
Guess he doesn't like Eternal Sunshine.
Or Human Nature.
Or The Green Hornet with Seth Rogen.
We're not gonna have the Armie Hammer discussion.
We are.
I'm starting it right now.
We're not doing that.
You shouldn't have brought it up because now I remembered I want to have it.
We're not having the Armie Hammer discussion.
You're responsible now. You're responsible for the conversation.
Hey, it's Jack from the editing room. This is the part of the podcast where I give a really, really long, detailed theory. I'm going to get immediately proven false because I didn't have all the necessary information and I look like a total jackass. But we're going to keep it in because it's funny how stupid I look.
This is just a theory, a game theory. I'm not directly saying they're untrue. The wild accusations about Armie Hammer being a cannibal come out, right? Literally a week later, Luca Guadagnino and Timothée Chalamet are like, we're going to do a movie about a cannibal. The director and co-star of this man's most famous movie are making a movie about a cannibal, which the fucking other star of the movie just got supposedly outed as. I think it could be some wild, like, promotional method for that movie. That's all I'm saying.
Okay, I think they would have revealed it by now.
Yeah, I feel like it's been too long without revealing it.
Armie Hammer's career has been so messed up by this, it would not have been worth it to promote this movie.
The Armie Hammer discussion has now, like, faded from the public consciousness a bit.
Maybe it'll only be promoted when the movie comes out. Maybe, like, 40 minutes in the movie, he'll walk in and he'll say, I am the cannibal. And then everybody will be like, whoa!
I don't think Armie Hammer's doing, like, a Joaquin Phoenix thing.
No, he could totally be, though.
He's just, like, abusive and his partners are, like, coming out about that.
That is true. He is a shitty person, but he might not be a cannibal.
But, like, if he is genuinely getting exposed as an abuser, like, why would the cannibal part be fake? Like, if that's a marketing scheme, then the genuine, like, abuse counteracts that.
If it's a marketing scheme, why would they make up all the abuse stuff?
Hold on. I fully believe all the abuse things. I'm just talking about the cannibal stuff.
Yeah, but then it's mixed in.
It's the same people.
No, it is?
Yeah,
Yes.
the people,
Yeah.
like, talking about how he was an abuser are, like, mentioning the cannibal stuff.
Oh.
Oh my god! Should we just listen to Jack's entire theory crumble?
Oh.
He's been talking about this theory for, like, weeks.
Yeah, that's not a good look for me.
Yeah.
Do we want to leave this in?
Yeah, I'm fine with getting embarrassed.
Everyone gets embarrassed once.
I think we should put a little bit in front of it saying, Jack's about to be an idiot.
Tegan, what's your favorite scene in Sorry to Bother You?
Holy shit, yeah, we were talking about that.
I liked the scene you talked about, though. I thought that one was really funny. It got progressively funnier.
I think one thing that's really good about the jokes in this movie is that a lot of the time jokes in movies will like go on for like a little too long and it's like, okay, wrap it up.
Yeah.
But I did not feel that way about any of the jokes in this movie. I thought they all were like perfect.
I totally agree. That's something that annoys me about a lot of, like, modern American comedies is, like, when a joke is done, it's like they hit the same note, like, at least 5 times just to be, like, 100% sure the audience gets it.
That's what Jimmy Fallon does. He repeats the same joke 10 times in a row if the audience laughs.
When I tell people that I hate Family Guy and then they all go, what, why, it's so good, and then I say that, they're all like, oh wait, yeah.
Like, in Family Guy, they'll take a joke and then have it continually repeat for a minute straight. Like, Brian vomiting on the floor for a minute consecutively without stopping.
Remember that time when the imposter was sus?
Don't get Manny. Stay seated. Stay seated, Manny.
Why are we doing the second Among Us joke?
I didn't
in
say
this
that. That was
podcast?
Callum. That was Callum.
That is not okay.
Let's just bleep it. And then we'll all react like Callum said something really fucked up that we can't put in the podcast.
Oh my god.
Okay, one thing about this movie is just that after the horse reveal, I think, honestly, the movie could have had an extra half an hour because I think the third act for me feels really rushed and just like the final kind of climax, it felt like they were just hurrying as fast as they could to like wrap everything up. I would have been happy if they just spent another like half an hour to flesh out the ending a bit more because it felt kind of rushed to get like a Hollywood happy ending.
I think they could have like escalated it even more.
I think so too, honestly. It feels kind of small scale just being on like that one block where they're protesting in front of that one building.
Yeah.
Compared to like the scale of everything else that's presented.
It doesn't feel like there's that much of a world outside of like the places in the movie. You see Armie Hammer's character on TV and then he just like shows up and talks to the main character like a bit later, even though he's supposedly like a huge deal. It just like everything feels like very like isolated to this one block, like these few characters. It doesn't feel like much is going on outside of that. And I think like the ending, like I like the horse part, but the part where he turns into a horse and then he breaks into the house and that happens in like the span of like 1 minute and then the movie ends. That just felt kind of like it came out of nowhere, like as like a weird like punch at the end. Like I don't know.
Yeah.
Honestly, I kind of like that because when they're coming back to like the apartment, it's like everyone's getting their little resolution and then they just like flip it on you last second. And I guess maybe it could have been a bit more well thought out, or because it's like, I get it's a bit cheap, but I was kind of disappointed with just like how kind of sappy it was before that. So that final thing right at the end, a bit hype.
It just kind of reminded me of like horror movies. They're like everything racks up and then there's like a random jump scare and then the credits roll. You know what I mean? It's like that kind of thing.
I think I know what you mean.
Okay, next question. What do you guys think is the best performance of the movie?
Honestly, I think Lakeith Stanfield is like amazing. I love Lakeith Stanfield. He's honestly one of my favorite actors right now.
He's fucking amazing.
He's such a good like facial performer.
Yeah.
Showing like fear in his eyes. He's so expressive.
With his body too. He's hunched over the whole movie.
I was just gonna say the way he talks, it's so natural and like it's really interesting. I don't know. I just love hearing his voice.
I think I'm also gonna go with Lakeith. When I think of him as an actor, I think of this movie.
Yeah.
The actual answer is Lakeith, but I'm gonna say Armie Hammer.
Oh, yeah.
He's fucking perfect. He's a shitty person, but he's so fucking good in this movie.
He's playing himself.
Yeah, no, he's literally playing himself.
Yeah. That's why Jesse Eisenberg is so good as Mark Zuckerberg, because he's just playing himself.
I hate Jesse Eisenberg so
Why?
much. He looks like such an asshole. Have you seen that interview where he just like bullies that girl?
I thought he was justified.
Not really. He was just being a dick.
He's just being a douche.
Oh, okay. For some reason, I think I watched it in the context of somebody being like, this interviewer was being an asshole to him, so he like clapped back.
She wasn't a great interviewer, but he was just like bullying every little thing that she got wrong.
That's so sad.
Like he was being so vicious. It was like not called for at all.
Yeah, in his mind, he was like shitty interviewer owned by funny celebrity.
And he went to r/brain cell.
He has like, I feel like he's one of the people with like a biggest like celebrity egos. Tegan, what do you think the best performance is?
I agree with everyone else.
Okay.
Tegan, can you stop having such hot takes? All right.
I'm sorry.
Okay, guys, what is the best day of the year to watch Sorry to Bother You? Okay, here's my thing.
June
Here's my
12th.
thing. Everyone has to give one answer, and you can't change it because last time we changed it like
Okay.
100 times.
Yeah.
And you have to be confident in your answer.
My one answer is July
I'm
2nd.
gonna say June 12th.
I'm gonna go July 4th.
My birthday?
Yeah, but also because I think this is just a good, ironic Independence Day watch.
Yeah.
That's also my dad's birthday, Tegan.
Whoa, I don't know many people.
Why
with
are we
that
finding
birthday.
like a bunch of like coincidences between Jack and Tegan in this episode? They
Holy
had the Halsey
shit.
concert, and now they have.
Tegan is girl version of me.
What do you think, Callum?
I have no reason. I just feel June 30th.
I was gonna say April 23rd.
April.
For no reason.
Spring.
We were going for like more of a summer thing.
Yeah, explain.
We told her to explain and she just walked away. Holy shit.
God, Tegan, you good?
She got up
Tegan,
and
we're recording a podcast.
Tegan has been drawing faces on a piece of paper this entire time and she just got up to grab a different color marker.
Tegan has not been engaged in a podcast episode since 12 Monkeys.
Sorry.
No, that's not true. She was engaged with Goonies. She had a lot of passionate takes with Goonies.
I think I like had a blackout and I don't remember what happened during that episode.
Okay.
Oh, because we were bullying your favorite movie.
Yeah, my favorite movie of all time, The Goonies. How much money would you pay me to put that as my number one on Letterboxd?
5 cents.
I honestly, I'd encourage you not to.
10 cents? Fuck you.
5 cents. Would you pick up a nickel?
No.
Why we always
Don't.
come back to bribing Jack to do things?
Jack,
Yeah.
I'll give you a whole quarter, all right?
Callum,
go.
Callum, you owe me like $40.
Why does Callum say quarter like a fucking guy from New York?
I haven't noticed I have, but thank you for telling me
I'll give you a
this.
quarter.
Quarter.
A whole quarter.
You do owe me $40.
He's only got a few bucks.
You think you're a wise guy?
That's a 12 Monkeys quote.
Okay.
Okay, here's my next question about Sorry to Bother You. Would you ever watch this movie again?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Definitely, yeah.
It's a very entertaining movie.
It's very good. I don't know if I'll watch it for a little while, because I think I got most of it out of it. Like, it doesn't seem like something I'd need to see multiple times to, like, really get the full picture, but definitely it was very enjoyable.
Should all live my life and watch it a week and a half after you first watched it.
Having rewatched it, I gotta say, I did not like it as much. Like, I guess the first time I kind of didn't really care about the third act being kind of like a bit rushed and not as good as the rest. But like having seen it a second time, I definitely found it a lot more apparent. Like it just wasn't as consistently good in like the last bit.
I think I enjoyed it just as much this time, but I feel like I'll wait like another like 2 or 3 years before I come.
2 or 3 years?
Jesus.
Oh no, it's been over 2 years since I saw it the first time, so I'm just gonna like keep up the pattern.
That's so odd. Why would you do that?
I usually don't rewatch movies for a couple years.
Are you kidding me?
Do you not like how nonchalantly I'm just like tossing around like 2 or 3 years?
What is wrong with you people? That's such a long block.
I might watch it in a couple decades. We'll see.
I could die in that time.
You could die but tomorrow, dude. Actually, it will happen.
Oh, wait. That circles back to one other thing I wanted to talk about.
About how you're gonna die tonight?
Yes. This is the last recording you will ever hear of me. Okay, so Cash is super like, nothing matters, sun's gonna explode, nothing matters in the future, so what is anything I do? I fucking hate when people do that. Because sure, your tiny action now isn't gonna matter in the future. That far away, like, shouldn't fucking matter to you, because what matters with your actions is how they affect the people around you and how they affect your life in the small term. You shouldn't be thinking about 1,000 years from now. Sure, nothing you did is gonna like matter 1,000 years from now, but it's gonna matter now.
Why the hell is 1,000 years so much more important than right now?
Yeah, like, shut up, you're not cool.
I mean, I think part of that is just like general kind of anxiety, like he can't stop thinking about it. It's not like he chooses to be pessimistic. It's just sort of like general worries that haunt him. But yeah, I think that mindset is not... It's not a healthy mindset to have.
Maybe my mind just immediately assumes that people who say that are like, they think they're smarter.
Like, oh, we're on a tiny
Yeah.
speck on a rock floating through space, like, so it's okay for me to kill you.
Maybe you'd be more susceptible to that perspective if you were unemployed and also there was a company giving you slavery contracts to people.
Yeah, I'm living that, man.
Huh?
No, you're not.
I'm unemployed and I could go get a job at Amazon. You just described my real life situation.
I found a lot of similar things between this movie and Spike Lee's Bamboozled in the sense of the media's reaction to things, like the entire concept of there being I just got the shit kicked out of me. In Bamboozled, there's like a minstrel show they start in the 21st century and everyone loves it. It's like that kind of idea. And also just like how the media takes something. Like there's that scene where he's like trying to expose the fact that they're making Equisapiens, but it just makes it more popular.
Yeah.
And that's kind
so
of the
funny.
kind of shit that happens in Bamboozled as well. Like everybody just loves that shit.
I don't normally love, like, film depictions of social media or just, like, internet culture, because I think a lot of the time it's poorly done, but I think the whole thing of, like, the can against the head, it's, like, it's definitely exaggerated and, like, satirical in that way, but I think it's really effective in just kind of communicating how the internet can take something like serious and profound and just repeat it until it loses all its meaning and just becomes a joke or a trend.
I can't say when the imposter is sus.
That's not. I think that's one of the only parts in the movie where you kind of feel like there's like a world happening outside of the scope of the movie.
Yeah.
Because
That's
like
true.
something develops outside of Cash, like he's like finds out that this thing has been going on about the video clip. So I appreciated that part of it. Tegan, would you ever watch this movie again?
I would maybe watch it if other people wanted to watch it, but like I wouldn't go out of my way to watch it.
Okay, here's my next question. Do you recommend this movie to everyone, to certain groups? Do you recommend this movie at all? What do you think?
I would recommend this movie to everyone because it's essential anti-capitalist viewing and it's very important.
I would recommend this movie specifically to capitalists, because how can you watch this movie and be like, yeah, no, none of this is true?
I'd say I'd recommend it to anyone, but if you feel like they're going to be uncomfortable with the whole Equisapien thing, then maybe show them something else. I don't know if it's like a family watch, you know?
I would not call it a family watch.
Unless your family's cool. I think if you're like watching it with like grandma and then that shows up, it might be a bit like hard to explain.
It's not quite on it's not on the level of like happiness
No.
for like family watch it, but like it's no like Pixar movie either.
Can I get one more question? I got a list.
Yes.
Okay. We'll go yes or no through this, okay? Did this movie move you?
Moved me out of my bed.
It's called a movie, so
I sat pretty still for most of it, so I don't know.
This is not funny.
I wouldn't say it specifically did, because as well as this movie talked about these themes, personally, these are all already things that I'm really aware about and agree with. So it didn't really open me up to anything or make me realize anything. I was just kind of like, yep, this is all fucking true. I'm not surprised by any of this. I wouldn't say it specifically moved me, but I think to somebody who's less experienced
with these kind of themes and talking points, I definitely could.
Yeah.
I think it moved me in getting me hype. Yeah, like pumping fists in the air kind of thing.
Manny took a much more
Ooh,
literal
ooh.
interpretation of the question than I did.
Okay, I don't like this joke. I think it moved me in it being just a very good satire. And I think that was just like, it made me laugh. And I don't know if that was like moving, but it had an effect on me. Like I think about this movie a lot. Like it comes to mind often.
Does it bother you a lot?
No, it doesn't keep me up at night.
I'm sorry to hear that.
But did this movie move you, Tegan?
I already told you.
Not in the literal
I
sense.
had to watch it, didn't I?
No one thinks it's funny.
You can't claim to understand what everyone's thinking right now. Just because you don't think it's funny doesn't mean everyone else doesn't think it's funny.
Oh
It's
my God.
Just answer the question,
Just
Tegan.
answer the question!
No.
Wow.
Sweet.
Okay.
Straight up.
I agree. I thought it was funny. I didn't really move me, but I think about it sometimes. I agreed with most of it. So, also, before we do final ratings, I just want to say that Steven Yeun is somewhat disappointing in this movie.
Right? Okay. I'm not the only one that feels that. I love Steven Yeun to death. Compared to everyone else in this movie, he's just kind of like flat. Like not flat as in bad acting, just his character just kind of doesn't do much.
Yeah, and usually he stands out. Usually he's like a standout character. And this is like,
Yeah.
I could go with him or without him, and I don't really care.
They underused him.
Steven underused.
And honestly, like, well, I think Detroit is a really interesting character, and they did do quite a lot with her character, and just sort of like, kind of like between her and Cassius, and how they both kind of they both part ways as he becomes more like corporate and capitalist, she becomes more like extreme. But I think in the final part of this movie, like the third act, her character doesn't really have that much of a role in like the main climax. She's just kind of there and then shows up again at the end, and I wish that she had more involvement.
I'm honestly not a fan of the fact that they get back together.
Yeah, it feels kind of like forced. Like,
Yeah.
Their apartment, even in the garage, looks worse when they added all like the fresh furniture.
yeah, it's like they're trying to keep like the rich people decorations. That part almost feels like it goes a little bit against what the movie's trying to say. It's still very much an anti-capitalist movie, but in that sort of part, it's like compromising a bit to get like I said this before, but like to get a more kind of Hollywood ending.
I think it's also just aesthetically worse of an apartment.
I don't know if I agree with I think it kind of showed that, you don't have to like return to being your taste of that. I mean, he's obviously changed. So it'd be kind of like a bit disingenuous for him to go completely back.
Not go back, but just like something else, but not like the rich people decoration.
Well, it was a bit mix of both. So I think it was.
Okay, that's true.
Can I say, Lakeith looks so good in the suits?
Yeah.
He just looks really good at all times.
Dude, he does. He's so hot, I
Yeah.
swear.
Anyway.
Enough thirsting.
Final
final
rating. Going around the room. And by room, I mean Discord call.
I'd give this a solid 8 out of 10. Not particularly closer to a 9 or a 7, just right in the middle. 8 out of 10.
Last time I rated it like an 8.5 out of 10, I think. I'm gonna stick with it. I'm gonna go 8.5 out of 10 again.
I give it a shaky 9.
Shaky 9.
Shaky
I gave it an 8.
9. Ooh.
Shaky means like it's kind of teetering on the edge of an 8, but I'm giving it a 9.
You guys hear Tegan sneak her 8?
Yeah, I did hear that.
I give it an 8!
No one heard the giant duck quack sound Tegan made when I just pinched her nose. She went like ah.
Callum, what's your rating?
I used to give it a 9, but now I feel like it's more an 8.
Once again, I'm alone in my rating.
What are you giving it, Tegan?
I gave it an 8.
Okay. That's it for the discussion of Sorry to Bother You. And if this conversation bothered you, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry that I made myself look like an asshole this episode.
Bye.
Wow. It's just being chaotic as hell.
And I'm sorry to tell you that I won't be bothering any more of you because this is going to be the end of my appearance.
For now, he could be back.
I could be back.
Okay, ready for the next question, everybody?
Let's go.
Very ready.
What was the last movie you gave a 10 out of 10?
Ooh.
I already know the answer to this, actually, so I don't have to go check.
Are we counting rewatches?
No, we're not counting rewatches.
Okay, I got an answer. Mine would be Ikiru, directed by Akira Kurosawa, 1952. This movie moved me. It's a movie that feels very kind of bleak and depressing in the beginning, but then is able to transform into something much more uplifting and inspiring. And it has so much to say just about finding meaning in life and just sort of taking advantage of life while you can. And it just makes me think a lot about what I want to do in the future with my life and how I want to spend it. it's just a movie that makes me really conscious of my mortality in a way that's can be kind of stressful and concerning, but in a way that I really appreciate.
Breaking Bad, good ending.
It's an incredible movie.
Also, best Kurosawa.
I might agree. It's very close. All of his movies are so close.
High and Low is better.
No, it isn't.
Yes, it is. Have you seen it?
No.
Okay. I have seen both Akiru and High and Low, and you have only seen Akiru.
Well, Shut up.
The last movie I gave a 10 was back in November.
Wow.
The last first
Shut up,
watch,
Manny.
first watch 10, and it was Taste of Cherry by Abbas Kiarostami, which I feel like has been kind of surging in popularity lately because I know no one else pays attention to this, but I've gone on director Abbas Kiarostami's Letterboxd page a couple times in the past like few months, and Taste of Cherry has gone above certified copy in his list of popular movies. More people are seeing it, more people are checking it out, and more people are appreciating it for how just incredible it is. It's just about a guy who is driving around, picking people up in his car and asking them if they'll help him in his suicide. And then the entire movie is just him having conversations with people, and they're giving their like moral reasons as to whether or not they're going to help him with it. And it's so well written and like breaks my heart, and it's just such an incredibly well shot, well scripted, well acted. It's like everything is perfect, and it's like one of my new favorite things ever. So Taste of Cherry.
That sounds like something I'd love. And I can tell it's had a surge in popularity because for the past 2 days, Luke has said to me, "What is the next movie you're watching?" And then before I could answer, went, "And why is it Taste of Cherry?"
So that's my answer. What is your last 10 out of 10, Tegan?
Promising Young Woman.
Oh, you want to talk about it?
It's really good.
What else? Why is it really good?
Men are stupid, and it makes a commentary on how stupid they are and how misogyny is ingrained into literally everyone who even thinks that they're progressive has misogynistic tendencies because it's just in society. And it's really hilarious, and it's really good, and it's incredibly well acted and written, and it's really good.
Promising Young Woman. What was your last 10, Jack?
I talked about it on the last episode of the podcast, I think.
So just mention it briefly.
It is At Eternity's Gate. It is the Vincent van Gogh biopic, and I think it is the biopic that is the most faithful to the style of the person that it is trying to portray, and I love it to death because of that. Very, very good Willem Dafoe performance. Also, it has Oscar Isaac in it. I'm very likely to give any movie with Oscar Isaac like a 9 or above.
I also love At Eternity's Gate, and I think it's quite underrated. Everyone should check that one out.
What about you, Callum?
I don't think I've given a 10 in like 2 years.
See, you guys thought my November
Wow.
thing was stuck
Jeez.
up, but listen, get a load of this guy.
Now, to be fair, I don't log many movies. Like, I'll watch movies and then I don't really like review them, and then I don't like think about them enough to actually give a number to them. I'll give like close to a 9 that I probably did recently that I didn't actually review. I really liked Memories of Murder.
Yes.
I thought maybe that was like a 9.5. I don't know if I would give it a 10. I don't give many 10s, but I thought it was really awesome. It's better than Snowpiercer, but that's pretty easy.
No opinions on that.
And it's also better than Okja, but that's pretty easy to beat. Better than Okja. I kind of love how bumbling they are. Like, they're such assholes.
I have not seen Memories of Murder. So.
Mute. Actually, no.
Deaf and Manny.
This is also spoilers for anyone listening.
Okay, well, I won't talk about it, but to those that have seen it, something leg. It's I find it very funny when that happens.
I don't remember what you're talking about.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
God damn it.
Okay, Tegan loves Zodiac. She loves mystery stuff. She loves Prisoners. So I'm like, watch Memories of Murder. She gave Parasite a 5 out of 5. So I'm like, okay, she'll love it. She gave it what? What did you give Memories of Murder?
I don't remember.
She just wasn't a huge fan.
Yeah, I wasn't a crazy huge fan.
And I was surprised. I was shocked. Next question. Do you think film is dying as a medium?
No.
Not at all.
What?
So, like, if anything, it's like easier for anyone to make a movie now than it ever has been in history.
I think right now is probably like a golden age for like indie, because back in the 70s, like the top grossing movies of the year were like also the movies that were being like the most critically acclaimed movies of the year. Like Godfather would be in like the top 5 highest grossing movies, and that's just totally flipped now. What I enjoy out of movies, I pretty much never find in blockbusters. I'm not saying that to be like stuck up. Like I try, I give a lot of them a chance, but I feel like that is where you could argue that like film is dying compared to the past, but I think right now we're in like a golden age of indie cinema. And there's also an argument like, oh, there's all these other mediums that are just so like out there, like VR and like the advancement of like video games and stuff. Like, is cinema really gonna like grip people into the future? And I feel like there's always gonna be like a place for it, no matter what.
Yeah, I don't get how you can say cinema is dying right now. Literally, like, one of the biggest movies to ever came out fucking 2 years ago. Parasite. Movies can't be dying when something like Parasite comes out and gets the recognition it deserves and completely reopens people's minds to what movies can be. Like, there's no way it's dying.
What do you think, Callum?
Yeah, no, it's not dying. Theaters, they're not doing great now.
Thanks, Nolan.
But honestly, I think at-home viewing can have its like own experience. It's totally different, but it's just as good in some ways. I feel it'd be harder to like cry at a movie theater.
Yeah.
Because of society. Am I wrong?
I'm sad that all the indie theaters are dying. Like I think the Regent Theater went out of business, and that's where I saw Lean on Pete there like a few years ago, and it was just like, it's nice to go to a theater that has just one big theater in it, and they play movies. And I was so sad when I went there because there's this tiny indie movie that was really good, but barely anyone saw it, and there was like 6 people in the audience, and like they were mostly very old people who probably lived nearby and like couldn't like go out downtown to a movie theater and just like checked out whatever was playing. Some old woman came up to me after, and she's like, "Isn't it really sad what happened with the horse?" And I'm like, yeah.
When I saw Lady Bird, it was in a really weird like indie theater downtown. Like there was like no one there. It was so weird.
Yeah, Luke, do you know if the Grand Girard is still open?
I think it is. They pulled a big audience when we went.
Me and Luke saw a Neil Breen movie at the Grand Girard Theater, but I feel like that's a place that would really suffer right now.
Yeah, for sure. I liked seeing Twisted Pair there, but it was a very bizarre theater.
That felt like the only place we could watch Twisted Pair.
Is that the movie about testicular torsion?
I don't know.
I'm not sure.
I don't think it's about that, man. I don't think movies are dying. I think that's very broad. I think maybe the theater experience is kind of being dwindled in favor of the at-home experience, but I also think there's always going to be a place for that. I think almost like it's sort of showing that a lot of people who view going to the theater as just sort of like the standard way to just watch a movie might be drawn in more by VOD stuff, but people who go to the theater because they want that experience, there's always going to be that place for them. So maybe we'll get even more stuff like the Lightbox and stuff. I appreciate a theater like that, you know? I am going to the Lightbox the second I can.
I really hope they get the resurgence they deserve when COVID dies down.
I think it will.
Where else am I going to pay $50 for a popcorn drink and like M&Ms?
And I will buy all of that overpriced shit.
Yeah, I'll eat it up.
Okay, last question. Favorite painting?
Ooh.
I'm gonna say The Goldfinch, mostly just because I like the book that comes with the painting. Amazing book, best book I've ever read. The painting's pretty cool too. I've not really looked much at the painting, but it's described very well in the book. So
did you put your favorite painting as a painting you haven't looked at much?
no, I've looked at it, just not that much.
What's your favorite painting, Jack?
My answer, I'm talking a lot about Van Gogh this episode. My answer is going to be Almond Blossom by Vincent Van Gogh. That painting gives me such a nice sense of like calm and relaxation. I think it goes perfectly with the song, or technically 3 songs, Gymnopédie by Eric Satie. I think that's the perfect pairing of art. I just love that painting a lot.
I just looked it up. It's a good painting. My other one is also a Van Gogh painting.
Van Gogh.
And there's a lot of ones to choose from. I like the famous ones. I like the Starry Night. I like the cafe at night, the cafe terrace at night. I love that one too. The other famous one that I love, and I think I'll pick as my favorite, is Night Cafe.
Though the weird perspective one that's supposed to be like ugly.
Yeah, the one that's like he said it was ugly, like in a letter to his brother, and it's like really jarring, but it also kind of like communicates like anxious atmosphere of like a bar. I think it's really good.
I'm looking at it right now. The lighting is just like,
Yeah.
it reminds me of like that hyper bright lighting that just like gives you a headache when you're like at a restaurant with your parents.
And like the shadow of the billiards table being like wrong, I think really adds to like the disorientation and also just the perspective of the room being all slanted.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What's your favorite painting, Tegan?
I literally don't have one. I don't. I just like paintings that look good. I don't know.
Okay, what's your favorite painting, Callum?
Can I join with Tegan? Yeah, I don't have a favorite painting.
What?
All right. Well, this is not the painting canister. It's not the painting canvas podcast.
That's not funny.
Shut up.
That would be a really good name.
We want to move on to the film pickings.
Yes.
Pickens.
Okay.
Do we kick Callum out of the call for this? How does this work?
Do you want to be here, Callum? Do you want to be here for this?
Can I just stay?
Sure,
Yeah.
you can stay.
Can I stay?
I got nowhere to go, man. It's cold out there.
Tegan's picking a name.
Ooh.
It's me.
Oh, it's Luke. Whoa.
Okay, we got a prompt. By the way, if anyone this is the first episode, what we're doing right now is that we're picking a name and we're picking a prompt from a jar to pick the movie for the next podcast. That's why it's called the film canister, because this is the film canister and this is where we pick the films from.
It's not a canister, it's a jar, just so you know.
What's my thing?
Worst movie by your favorite director.
Oh shit!
Ooh.
Can we not do this?
No, this is gonna be so fun. Are you kidding me? It's going to be a movie that Luke has specifically told me that he never wants to see.
I'm so sad. I wanted to pick a good movie. Fuck. Okay, we're gonna talk about Fear and Desire by Stanley Kubrick.
Oh,
Yo!
boy. I'm kind of interested to watch this.
I'm not. Okay, we're gonna do this movie, Fear and Desire by Stanley Kubrick. And everybody says it's garbage. Stanley Kubrick tried to make everybody not know it existed until some fuckers at some place found some print of it and were like, we found Stanley Kubrick's best movie. And then they just showed everybody. So now we have it. It's like the Star Wars holiday special of Stanley Kubrick movies. You know? Apparently it's really bad. And he never wanted anyone to watch it. So we're going to watch it and talk about it on the podcast instead of anything good. So sorry to anyone who's watching along with us and watches this movie, but also get hyped for us to talk about it.
Just a little editor's note, we also decided to watch Kubrick's second feature film, Killer's Kiss, along with Fear and Desire, since they're both sort of in the realm of his 1 hour long student filmy projects before he got into his real famous
All right,
works.
so I think that's the end of this episode. Can you give us an outro, Tegan?
Ba-doop boop.
Oh my god, can you edit Tegan's boop boop to sound like that?
No.